Good afternoon. Welcome to Cookeville, Tennessee. We are right now in the West End portion of Cookeville, which is known for a lot of its shopping and local restaurants. And we are today going to go on a bicycle journey along the Tennessee Central Trail, which is named after the historic Tennessee Central Railway, which ran from the late 1800s until the late 1960s. Today, there are portions of that rail which still run, which we're looking at part of it right now. It's the Nashville and Eastern Railroad. It runs from Nashville, Tennessee to Monterey, Tennessee, a little over 100 miles. Over here, we have the Cookeville Depot, which now is the Cookeville Depot Museum. Definitely worth checking out. And then here is a kiosk with some information about the Tennessee Central Trail, which we're going to go on today. This trail is if you go one way, it's 4.23 miles, and it's for both pedestrians and bicyclists. And it's a trail that I have been on, I can't even tell you how many times, but I never get tired of it. I love riding my bike on this trail. And so there are several of these kiosks along the way that we'll see. And then also I just want to point out there's some really cool sculptures. There's looks like that's a Diamondback mountain bike that's been turned into a really cool sculpture. And then over here at the beginning of the trail is this awesome looking sculpture, and you'll see just all different kinds of bicycles from different eras. And then just kind of here, this is a little bit of the west side that I was talking about with the shopping and the local restaurants. Really quickly, before we get started, well, first, I'm Chuck. And I just wanted to say a couple of things. First, you'll notice I'm wearing a helmet, and I would tell everyone, wear a helmet when you ride your bicycle. I know, yeah, maybe you might think, oh, I look like a dork, and yeah, I probably do look like a dork, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. I'd much rather look like a dork and have added protection on my head. Even on a bicycle, you may not be going that fast, but it does not take much at all to end up with a serious head injury if you do crash. And then also, I'm wearing a really brightly colored shirt just to make myself more visible. And I think that's another good habit to have when you're riding, especially if you're riding where there's car traffic. All right, well, without much more ado, let's go ahead and get to this trail. All right, so we're starting out here in the West End, and I'm going to cross over. Now, one thing about this trail, where it starts here, you're actually on sidewalks in front of shops and restaurants, and so you really need to go slow. And the reason I say go slow is just for, as you can see, there's people walking on it, coming in and out of the stores and the restaurants, and you just have to be really careful. Okay, so here we're coming to an intersection, and it's always good to stop here. Thank you. What's interesting on this part of the trail is we actually cut through a parking lot on the backside of the Leslie Town Center, which is basically Cookeville's convention meeting center. So you can see the trail here with the dotted or dashed lines. I always try to avoid this speed bump here, just go to the right. Same thing with this one. You can see it's pretty windy today, but it is a gloriously beautiful day. Sunny, clear blue skies. Right now the temperature is in the mid 60s. All right. And then on this portion of the trail for about the next mile or so, it's kind of what I like to call the urban part of the trail. It's, as you can see here, it's basically double sidewalks, which is nice. Gives plenty of room when there are pedestrians or people going in the other direction on their bikes. To the right here, that is our farmers market. And so if you ever want to find a good deal on local produce, that's the place to come. It is windy. Hopefully that wind is not too noisy on the microphone. Okay, and here we're going to come to 4th Street. This is always good to stop here. Yeah, there you guys. Okay, so up here we're going to make a right and cross over Mahler Avenue. And we are right now on the southeastern corner of the Tennessee Tech campus. And you can see there's Robert and Gloria Bell Hall. That's our nursing building for the School of Nursing. Also, we have a clinic there as well on campus. Exercise ring closed. That's good. All right, so we'll cross over. And through here, there's a few bumps. These trees have pushed up some of the asphalt a little, and so it does get a little bumpy on this. I have shocks on this bike, which really are nice to have here, but I will say that you don't have to have shocks on your bike to enjoy this trail and to be comfortable. Really, any bike will do on this trail. I'm going to stop here for a second. On the left, we see another one of the kiosks, but also there is this really cool little book station where you can just borrow books. Pretty cool. Not something you would expect to see on a bike trail, but it's still neat. Okay, here we'll make a right. Over there to the left is more of the Tennessee Tech campus. Here we cross over the railroad track. And then here we make a left. And I always try to stop here because sometimes cars don't always stop. Okay. And one thing I'll mention, earlier I was talking about wearing bright clothes, which to be seen, but which this may seem a little funny, but when I ride and there's car traffic, I always try to pretend as if I'm invisible. I try to act and ride in a way where I do not assume the drivers of cars see me, because many times they don't see me. And I don't want to assume somebody's going to stop, even though they're supposed to. They may not always stop. And so I think that's just a good general rule of thumb when you're riding your bike. One thing I'll mention, well, too, I do work at Tennessee Tech, and I've been there, well, almost 20 years now, and love it. Tennessee Tech University is a school with a campus with about just over 10,000 students, and really is a a fantastic school with many different majors offered. One thing I'm very proud of that I like to brag about, I have a degree, a bachelor, or a degree from Tennessee Tech. It's an EDS. My wife has a degree from Tech, also an EDS. My two sons have bachelor degrees. One of them also has a master's degree from Tech, and my daughter has a bachelor degree from Tech. So our entire family, immediate family, we all have degrees from Tech, which is pretty cool. Okay. So here's East 9th Street. Cross over. The building straight ahead, that is Foundation Hall, part of the Tennessee Tech campus. And it actually was purchased by the Tennessee Tech Foundation on behalf of Tennessee Tech about 15 years ago. It was purchased from the Putnam County School System, which is our local school system here. And before it was Prescott Middle School. Even earlier back in time, it was a junior high, and then I think originally it was the Cookeville High School. And so we're now starting to transition into the less urban part of the trail as we go behind Foundation Hall. There's a section coming up here that we're getting ready to go through, which I think is probably my favorite segment of the entire trail. And the reason I like it is because of all these pine trees, which are just beautiful in and of themselves. But also, I love the aroma of the pine needles through here. Yeah, I just love that. Just a very picturesque, beautiful scene. Okay. Coming by on your right. Oh, you're okay. This is supposed to be a stop both ways for the traffic, but the cars don't always stop. And the intersection here that we're coming up to, this is North Washington Avenue. And I would say that this is by far the busiest intersection of the entire trail. You have to be the most careful here, just because of the volume of traffic, but also the speed that the traffic is traveling. And so I'm going to definitely wait until it turns green for me, and then still look all ways just to be sure nobody's coming. All right, so we're going to cross over, and we're going to make a hard left here. And the building that's on the right, this new construction, this is going to be a new McDonald's restaurant, which will be really nice to have close to the Tech campus. Here we're going to make a right just before the railroad tracks. And so now we're on the part of the trail that I kind of think of as less urban, more suburban, kind of park-like. And the no longer is it the double sidewalks, but it's simply the asphalt. Such a beautiful day. Could not ask for better weather to be out here riding on this trail right now. Okay, so here we cross over the track, and we'll cross over several times. Okay, up here, I'm going to stop just briefly and point something out. On the left here, this is another really cool bicycle sculpture just along the way. So I just wanted to point that out. We'll keep going. And along here, really for the most part, to the left, which is facing north, that's going to be more industrial areas, and to the right, to the south, is more residential. You may see the big red water tower. That's for the Cookeville Cavaliers, our local high school here in Cookeville, which is, we're not too far from it. There's a road coming up, Brown Avenue. You can take it to the left, and about a mile or so you'd be at the high school. All right, so up here you're going to see in just a couple seconds a brown sign, and we're going to make a right at that sign. So this is Cinderella Park. It's an access to the Tennessee Trail. Here's another kiosk. You can also see here the rules of the trail. So really quickly, we'll go down here. So there's parking here, and so you could, if you wanted to, access the Tennessee Central Trail from here. And it's also a really nice park, as you can see. Just a great place to bring your kids and play and just enjoy the outdoors. And two, if you have young kids riding bikes, I think this could be a good access point where I would avoid crossing Washington Avenue, but you could go in the other direction and go for a while without being on any super busy roads. Okay, now we're back on the trail. As I said, my bike that I'm riding, it does have shocks on the front. It's nice to have, but not necessary. I'm riding a hybrid bike that leans a little more toward the mountain bike side of hybrids. But any bike, you can bring any bike on this, whether it be a road bike, a gravel bike, a hybrid mountain bike, beach cruiser bike, just whatever you have will work just fine on this trail. All right, so here's another stop. This is Brown Avenue. Usually it's not too busy and the traffic is supposed to stop. Okay. And you'll notice I'm really not going that fast. And really on a trail like this with pedestrians and people with their pets, I shouldn't be going that fast. I usually average maybe 10 miles an hour on this trail, which is, it's a decent speed, but it's not super fast. And I'm not trying to go fast. I'm just trying to enjoy it. And that's, as the older I've gotten, I've become more that way. I'm not as concerned about speed on my bike as I used to be. I just want to come and enjoy like I'm doing right now. This railroad, the Nashville and Eastern Railroad, as far as the type of rail traffic that typically is on it here in Cookeville, it's what I usually see are trains with loads of sand that come from a huge sand quarry just up near Monterey, Tennessee, which is about 15 or so miles east of here. And that's where the rail, that's the eastern end of it. And so I'll see that on occasion. There are special events where a passenger train will come here to Cookeville. It's not regular on any set schedule that I know of, but it just comes on special events. But if you travel about 50 miles to the west of here to Lebanon, Tennessee, there is a commuter train called the Wego Star, which runs daily. And so if you live in, say, Lebanon or Mount Juliet or just anywhere on the eastern side of Nashville, that's a great way to commute into the city of Nashville without having to deal with car traffic. Good to see a lot of people out on the trail today, enjoying it just like I am. Yeah, I like the stretch through here too. Some more pine trees, a few more pine needles up here. So it's kind of hard to see, but on the right, that is a golf course. That's the Eagle Club, which is owned and operated by Tennessee Tech. It is a public golf course, and I've played it. It's a lot of fun. It is a full 18-hole course, and so yeah, it's just a nice thing to have here in Cookeville. And we actually have several different golf courses. That's just one of them there to the right. There's the golf course again to the right. Crossing back over the tracks. Oh yeah, one thing I'll point out here on the right are these mile markers. You may have noticed some already, but here we are 3.25 miles into the trail. And they start at where we began at the depot, and we'll go all the way until we reach Algood. Okay, there's a road crossing. Oh wow, it looks like they're doing some paving here. I'm gonna take it a little slow. We'll cross back over the tracks again. Such a beautiful day. So glad to be out here riding like this on this beautiful fall day. Okay. Thank you. right. So, up ahead is an overpass we will cross under. And it's what the locals, including myself, call Highway 111. It's State Route 111, and it runs north-south. Basically, well, from in the north at the static Kentucky, basically the Tennessee-Kentucky state line, and goes all the way south to, I think it's Soddy Daisy, Tennessee, which is just north of Chattanooga. And much of it, as you can see, is a 4-lane divided highway. Here we go under Highway 111. So now we have crossed from the city of Cookeville to the city of Algood. Cookeville is a city of roughly 35,000 people. And then Algood is about 4,000. And both these cities are part of the Cookeville micropolitan area, which has a population of around, I think, 145,000 people. And I know from what I've read, the Cookeville micropolitan area has, for the last few years, been one of the fastest growing micropolitan areas in the United States, and continues to grow. If I understand it correctly, I think once the city of Cookeville reaches 50,000 in population, then I believe the micropolitan area would actually be defined as a metropolitan area at some point, possibly in the future. All right, we're going to cross over the tracks again. Okay, so here's our last road crossing on Riley's Path. Usually not much traffic on this. And we're almost to the very other end of our journey today. And you can see up here on the right is the final mile marker, which says 4.23 miles from the depot. Coming by on your left. And here we are at the other end of the trail. All right, so this is the Algood end of the Tennessee Central Trail. And you can see once again, here's another kiosk and the rules for the trail. Also, we have a trash receptacle, and this is kind of cool. We have a bicycle tire pump, and we have this bicycle station where you could put your bike up on top if you have to work on it. There's a bunch of tools down here. Over here, we have a water fountain, which includes a place to refill your water bottle. And then this is just the city of Algood. There's the city hall there in the distance, and they have a little market area. And then over here, that is the Algood Community Center, which also includes the Algood City Library. And then behind it is a really nice community park. And so, yeah, that's the trail and just the surroundings. And I wanted to mention really quick just my bicycle that I rode on this in case anybody's interested. This is a Cannondale Quick CX or Quick Cross. It is a hybrid bike, but it, as I said earlier, it leans to the more to the mountain bike side, and I say that because it has these forks here you can lock out if you want to. If you're on a road, makes you a little more efficient. But I like to keep those operating when I'm riding on this trail. It has hydraulic disc brakes, which are a nice feature. And then the gearing on it, I really like the gearing. And so it is an 8-speed with, in the front, just a single chain ring, and that has, I believe, 40 teeth on it. On the back, we have the 8 gears, and those range from the highest gear, I believe it has 11 teeth on it, and that has, I think it's a 1 to 3.67 gear ratio for when you're on the roads and going at faster speeds. And then it ranges all the way up to the lowest gear, which has 45 teeth on it. And that is, I believe, a 1 to 0.88 gear ratio, which is, almost like something you'd have on a mountain bike with a really low gear. The tires on this are just good general purpose tires. These are 700C by 40 millimeter tires. Great all-purpose tires, and this bike, you can take it on, well, a trail just like we rode just now, but also on roads. You can take it on light off-road, even gravel trails. I like to think of this bike almost, it's not this, but it's almost like a flat bar gravel bike. I kind of like it just with the gear ratios and everything. And I really like it just for everyday riding. If I had to go down to one bike, I do own more than one bike, but if I had to go to one bike, I believe this would be it, just because it is so versatile. So there you have it. Thank you very much for sticking with me on this journey today. If you did like the video, please like it, and then also please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm just getting started out, and I'm really planning to make other videos of other adventures on my bikes. And so yeah, that's it. I hope everyone has an awesome day.